Good morning and welcome to the Cryptonomatron. Today, a quick look at the news stories and the markets. First off, the SEC has halted a multi-million-dollar ICO called Munchee for securities violations. Now, there is a very fine line between what the SEC regards as a security violation or just a utility token. So if they deem that your ICO is and your tokenization is a security, then you will be shut down if you open in the USA. Now, what Munchee was trying to do was be a Yelp meets Instagram that would serve as a way to source restaurant reviews, so you could pick your restaurants accordingly. The token was called the MUN, and it would serve as an incentive for activity on the social network. As many new projects are coming out, they reward the users of the project with the tokens, which can then be exchanged for other cryptocurrencies. And the SEC has ruled this in violation of their securities exchange. So they've basically said that they're investment contracts, and they would deem them a security regardless of the utility within the ICO ecosystem. So this is we have to pay attention to this, because any ICOs that you're going to get involved in that have or originate from the USA, you need to pay attention. If there are rewards being given to participants, then the SEC may well constitute these as securities. So bear that in mind. And pay attention if your ICO is located in the USA, as you might want to bear that in mind when investing. Now, going forward, I think the most sensible choice for ICOs is choosing a place that has pretty liberal laws on these kind of things, such as Gibraltar, I mentioned it yesterday, or Switzerland, or some other place that will allow you to have an initial coin offering within the law but won't violate any of the local security regulations. So I think the USA are clamping down and tightening up on this already. If an ICO involves securities, then US citizens cannot participate. And the SEC released a statement on cryptocurrencies and ICOs yesterday, and they said the world's social media platforms and financial markets are abuzz about cryptocurrencies and ICOs. There are tales of fortunes made and dreams to be made. We're hearing the familiar refrain, this time is different. Now, it sets off like it's Old Father Thames here telling you, we know what we're doing, you guys don't, be careful. But ultimately, it is quite a balanced article from the SEC chairman, Jay Clayton. It goes into some of the risks. It's very worthwhile reading. Depends, on what side of the divide you fall on, whether you want to see ICOs regulated or not. As in any case, it's quite a balanced article, and it does go on to point out what you should be looking for if you're an investor, whether you're just a Main Street investor or a professional. And it does give some very valid points. So they do recognize the benefits of cryptocurrencies as well, or Jay does recognize the benefits of cryptocurrencies, and he also recognizes the benefits of initial coin offerings as well to raise revenue, capital revenue for companies and small projects that may not be able to get revenue elsewhere. So I think it's quite a balanced article, all things considered. In other news, the fake MyEtherWallet app has become one of the top 3 finance app on the Apple Store. Apple continuing to fumble the ball here, and MyEtherWallet have contacted them to remove the app, but so far no dice. And if you don't know, MyEtherWallet is the most widely used Ethereum wallet on the web. It's very easy to use. However, this fake app will steal your private keys and rob you of your money. So be very, very careful when dealing with your Ethereum wallet. Always keep your private keys, never give them out, and always make sure you back up. So one user has disclosed here that he has lost $21,000 worth of Ethereum or Ether, and it was stolen by that MyEtherWallet wallet application. So be very careful, guys. Personally, I don't recommend keeping any on your mobile phone if at all possible. It's the easiest device that you have to hack. Try and keep everything offline or on a hardware wallet or paper wallet. and try not to use any web wallets if at all possible, unless you're just using them for trading in very small amounts. The same goes for any desktop-based wallets like Exodus or Jax or any of those. Use them, but only for smaller amounts. If you have large amounts of cryptocurrency, try to use a hardware or even a paper wallet, which means that you cannot be hacked online. Roger Ver was on CNBC touting Bitcoin Cash yesterday, and he has announced that Bitcoin Cash are going to release a debit card. I thought this was quite interesting because it's moving towards more of a sort of a normalized system for Bitcoin Cash. I know what Roger and the rest of his team want, and that is to have Bitcoin Cash take over as the real Bitcoin, and the only way they're going to be able to achieve this is try to normalize it as much as possible, so that the Joe Blogs, the man on the street, can understand it. At the moment, cryptocurrencies are quite difficult for the majority of the population to get into, so I can see the validity here and his reasoning behind this. But again, do we really need the currency itself to be issuing debit cards? I'm not so sure. Back to the South Korea FUD. I was accused the other day of spreading false news, but South Korea are looking at regulations and looking at a possible ban of all crypto transactions, and that includes exchanges. I only bring you the news, guys. I'm not trying to get you to believe it or not, whether it has any merit or not. We don't know yet. They're still debating it. I just tell you, don't shoot the messenger. It's not my fault. If they ban it and you have invested in some currency that's going to be affected by South Korean banning exchanges, don't blame me. We all take risks here. I'm invested in some that rely heavily on South Korean exchanges, so it will affect us all in some way, shape or form, and probably affect the markets as a whole. But South Korea clarified their position after local reports said they were considering a full ban on crypto transactions, and they basically said they have been considering a possible ban on all cryptocurrency transactions, in particular Bitcoin. Now, as it says here in the article, regulators discuss the extent of the regulation that they're going to pass, and they are going to pass regulation. So it won't be a case they're just going to let it go and there's going to be no regulation. Regulation is coming. How severe it's going to be remains to be seen. So the government official was quoted saying, "We are actively considering ways to prohibit transactions on domestic exchanges by judging virtual currency trading as a deceptive means of deceiving people and similar currency transactions." So that's a very negative statement from a government official that highlights they are worried about people trading in cryptocurrency and they can't control it. So on Monday, the FSC chairman Choi Jong-koo clarified to reporters that the FSC is mapping out measures to restrict transactions to some extent. And he did admit then an all-out ban could be on the table. So just be aware of this, guys. I'm just bringing you the news. In other news, Barclays, UBS, Credit Suisse are looking at an Ethereum blockchain for their MiFID 2 regulations, and basically what this means is they're going to implement a blockchain solution to increase transparency, structure their marketplace, lower costs and organized trading behavior. All valid reasons for using it, but as one person asked at the bottom here, is this an implementation on the public Ethereum blockchain network, or is it a proprietary bank consortium platform? Basically meaning, is this going to be a public blockchain, decentralized network, or is it going to belong to the banks? I honestly think they wouldn't make anything public. I think it's going to belong to the banks, so therefore it will be proprietary. But I can't say that without full knowledge. I would suspect it's going to be proprietary. France has also approved blockchain trading of unlisted securities, so more mainstream adoption of the blockchain in security exchanges and trading. And France, following in the footsteps of Australia, announced they were going to use a blockchain for their biggest exchange. The French government has been working on various blockchain efforts, including a blockchain working group launched this May to research the implementations and explore the benefits. So It also mentions there the London Stock Exchange has partnered with IBM to trial a private platform for unlisted securities. Yesterday, I mentioned two of these coins in my news report, Ryblox and Singular DTV. If you read here, only 7 coins have gone over 10% gain against Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin continues to dump all the alts, but 7 of them mentioned here managed to buck the trend. One notable one, as we can see, is actually Litecoin. In other news, RCN Credit Network partners with Kyber Network to extend worldwide credit. So I've mentioned Ripio before. Ripio is an innovative credit protocol that is going to improve the world's access to digital payment alternatives. Basically, they're going to allow people to get loans, etc. And Kyber Network is a decentralized and trustless exchange that will be launching sometime 2018, and that will facilitate instant exchange of different cryptocurrencies and crypto assets and increase liquidity as well. So that's an interesting partnership. Looking at the markets today, Bitcoin is just under $17,000 after a little pump over 17,000 last night. Litecoin remains the big leader here in the top 10, pumping up over 47% today with a total of $236.84 and over 12 and reaching a $13 billion market cap, which is quite remarkable considering 15 months ago, the entire cryptocurrency market cap was under $10 billion. Just let that sink in for a minute. It shows you how much money is pumped into this cryptocurrency market now. And if we look at the market cap at the top there, you can see it's a whisker under $460 billion, and it continues to grow on a daily basis. Bitcoin dominance continues to increase, and that's important because the money is still not fully trickling down to the alts. Bitcoin is retaining dominance and increasing its market cap to over $280 billion now, which is 61.3% of the total. Moving down, let's see, Populous doing exceptionally well again. Seems to be no stopping Populous at the moment. And Ryblox, which I mentioned yesterday, up again, another 41%. Incredible gains there. See if there's anything else we can point out. Aeon doing well as well. If you recall a few days ago, Moog, who are a defense contractor for software systems for weapons, etc., announced they were going to use the Aeon network for their projects. So not much else of note there. Singular DTV, I mentioned it last night. It's doing rather well as well, and that's on the news that they are going to release a 5-part series filmed with the proceeds from Ethereum contributions, and it's going to be the first TV show or movies that have been filmed using blockchain technology. So very, very interesting there. Let's take a quick look at the gainers and losers. Sprouts, okay, never, well, I've actually heard of that. It's something to do with ecology and growing plants. Vuli, another big grower, very small market cap. Most of these not with much volume. Let's have a look down. Litecoin being the obvious exception. Litecoin reached all-time highs yesterday, now retracting slightly. If you are going to get into Litecoin, I'd probably hold off, as I was looking at the charts earlier and the RSIs indicate that Litecoin is heavily overbought, so it's due for a little bit of a correction. So you might want to hold off from pulling the trigger on that right now. Sonam in there, I noticed, doing very well. They obviously want to decentralize computers and make a giant computer network that everybody can use to harness more power, much like Golem are trying to do as well. And the losers, again, not much surprise there, not many surprises, all very low volumes and low market caps. Snovio retracting slightly, but it will be quite volatile. Notice a big sell wall on that yesterday. So I guess we'll need to shake out all the weak hands if we're going to make any more progress on Snovio. So let's have a look to see what's just been recently added. And the only thing that took my attention yesterday was this Kubera coin. Now, Kubera is a recent ICO, and it says it is a gaming platform where players will compete to each other in an interesting and captivating games and make bets with the coins via a peer-to-peer platform. So in a peer-to-peer platform, the game results are consistent between the two players and proving fair, as no game operators can control the outcomes like they do on online casinos, etc, etc. So there's a partnership they have with the government of Laos to use this platform for the national lottery and some other stuff as well. So this wasn't on my radar. I just saw this on the latest additions to CoinMarketCap, but it looks like quite an interesting little project. Obviously Japanese, and they are built on the Ethereum blockchain, as you can see, with a sort of gambling, person-to-person gambling app as well. And wallets available on both Android and iOS. So quite an interesting little project. I thought I'd just point that out. That's me for today, guys. I'm going to try and get another ICO review done as soon as I can. I've had another interesting project come to light, and as I say, there's just so many of them now that it's really difficult to keep up, and I end up reviewing some rubbish, and rarely does a gem appear these days. I've got to sift through so many, so I'll try and find good ones for you guys. I don't want to waste your time with reviewing stuff that, you know, might not be particularly interesting or lucrative for us to get involved with. But if I do say, if I do find a good one, I'll definitely do a review on it. So bear with me. Again, if you want me to review anything, please put in the comments below. I will try to get round to doing it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later on.